evening, everybody. Okay, I didn't see the sound bouncing, but hey, Dadman walking 55. Temporarily, I'm okay tonight. So we'll see what happens, how long we can go. Glad y'all are joining us with us too. Oh, that was interesting. I guess I'd never turn off the emote only in my Twitch side last time I went live. And interesting. That's surprising because it's a different kind of controls over on that side. But let me bring in my co-host for the weekly sports show now on a Saturday night tonight because I was with Mom on Tuesday night before I got sick again. It's the great JT Kirk. Hello, Captain. Uh-oh. Yeah, we were trying to work out some technical issues in the background. All right. Let me see. I'll pull JT down until he can come back in. But hey, we're great to have 6 of y'all on the YouTube side. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. We are one away from getting back to 680 subscribers again. So go for it. Let's get to 680. Bring people in tonight. Let's see. We make football. We make all kinds of stuff fun. You know, everything we do has a tinge of squirrel in it. I don't know. My computer's going slow tonight, so let's see. Okay. All right. Well, let's bring in the co-host himself now, JT Kirk. Hey, JT.
All right. Let's try this. Attempt number 2.
There you go. I don't know. It's just been
not that I'm attempting number 2, but it is attempt number 2.
Yeah. Take care of that. Take care of that on your own time.
Fiber is good. Fiber is your friend.
Exactly. All right. So
speaking of fiber, how about the AFC Conference Championship game?
Oh, well, we got a lot to say about that, but let's go ahead and greet the chat while we're here. Legatus Legionize. Hey, I had a nap. Well, I didn't really have a nap. I couldn't get to sleep, but I got recharged. I rested to where I could, get dishes done and get here for tonight. So, and Snortapoopas Q Burr is here. Hello, humans and other critters.
Hello.
Good to see you tonight. And we got JT Kirk here. Obviously, we got, and Fallout Dave is with us tonight. Hey, Fallout Dave. Good to see you. Our other resident Florida Gator fan here. Always good to see. So, I'm going to do some work in the background on that. Interesting question. We may not hit a lot of topics tonight. If we don't get to that question, remind us on Tuesday night. I'm trying to pace myself tonight, and we'll see where it goes and how it goes. So, God, thank you, Fallout Dave. Wow. How about that? Yeah, don't have too much cheese. That's all I can say. So. All right, so we greeted the chat, and like I said, take a look at the NFL playoffs. Really, one game was not worth the darn, would you say? The NFC Championship game was held last Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And
indeed it was.
Oh, God. They got the thing with Pro Bowl. It's a glorified flag football game.
I don't even see the point. I mean, really. Does anyone even watch that crap?
Ooh. Let's see. All right. Well, so Legata said Wayne played 1,487 games to get 894 goals. Ooh. That's only 18 goals more.
Yeah.
If he does not break it this year, he'll break it next year, assuming he would come back, and I'm sure he would come back for one more year. With a record like that, I'm sure somebody would bring him back at least to have it. And I do want to cover hockey more. We talked about that, JT, a lot more. I'm trying to watch more as I can, but this week got kind of thrown out of really got thrown out of whack this week. So
understandable. It is the crunch time of year for a lot of things.
Yeah. It works anyway.
Because the weather's generally bad in the U.S., being the wintertime. Companies really want you to produce and get stuff done and plan to do a lot of things, and everybody still has their New Year's work aspirations in. Yeah, I
Yeah,
understand.
we got to get our audits done by March 31, and usually that means mid March at the latest. But it's like I told you about some of the headaches. It's like, oh, great.
Yes. So sorry.
Yeah, it's almost like inmates from the asylum these days. So seriously, just looking at this, I'll look into this more for Tuesday night though. Um, if Wayne played 1,487 games, Ovi is at 1,461. I would think he would. Let's see, assuming I think let me back up to the NHL real quick. I think most teams are probably about a 3/4 point in the season. Taking a look, yeah, 53 games. Some have 53. So there's about 30 games. It's possible he could do it this year. On all
Oh, it's
seriousness,
it's possible.
yeah,
If he keeps up his rate, now he will be coming off an injury to try to finish out the season. But I whether it's this season or next, I think it's more important for him to beat the goals in games.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly. So, and he plays, I guess. Let's see for the looks like the Washington Capitals. So let's see. So looking
Yeah,
at the
that
Capitals.
bum team.
Hey, at least my Devils might make the playoffs this year. They're looking good. So let's see. Washington Cap. Oh, dang. Best team in the Eastern Conference. I I don't know. Very possible with a team like that this year. He could make it this year with about 31 games left. So
They're number one in the they're number one in the Metro division.
yep.
The
And
Panthers have more wins by
yeah,
two
but
games.
the Panthers have 65 points, and the Capitals are at 70. Here I'll bring it up here. And
Hmm.
hey, small time Republic, good to see you tonight. How are you doing? So we took a little squirrel off of football, and we're going to take a look at this real quick. So, which is
What
okay.
is funny are the Leafs are falling down a little bit, just a little bit. They'll still make the playoffs, but the joke is always that the Leafs lose the first round of the playoffs.
Oh yeah, they're at 62. They're just behind the Devils in the
Yeah,
conference. So, but yeah, Washington Capitals are first in the Metropolitan at 74 points. Dang, only 11 losses. Wow. So I tell you, I remember when they used to have just ties, but now they get 1 point for the overtime loss. I remember the days of where just a tie, not a shootout thing. But I guess you
and
still get points for a
unfortunately,
win.
the Wings are 4 games over 500, and
Yeah, and
they're
they
still not going to. I don't think they're
well,
going to
we
make it.
talked about this before. The fact they're in the Eastern Conference, and it's like
Yes,
you
which
would
I've
think
never liked.
no. So I mean, it's silly. They just don't seem to be a fit with a lot of those other teams in that area. Um, let's see. Let's take a look. But you could put Dallas over into the East, I guess.
Hmm.
And what the hell is this Utah Hockey Club? Can you not make up a damn name? It's like the year with the Washington football team. It's like so. But yeah, yeah. See Nashville. I would say put Nashville in the Eastern Conference and put Detroit back to its natural rivals. I mean, natural rivals were like Dallas, weren't they? And
Yeah.
Chicago.
Well, well, yeah. Chicago, the Blackhawks are a hated rival. Um, Dallas was another rival. I mean, really, anyone coming to town, the Red Wings were their rival. But Colorado really did not like them. It was ugly. But the funny
Uh,
thing was, until they moved Detroit into the East and permanently ruined the salary cap and the draft methodology, the Red Wings had a longer playoff run than the Colorado Avalanche were even a team.
See, that's the problem with all this realignment. We've seen it in college sports and everything else too. But I mean, there you take because it affects the number of games you play against each other, and of
Hmm.
course, meeting in the playoffs. Because I mean, like I remember Detroit and Dallas, Detroit and Chicago. I mean, what the hell, Nashville? They're a friggin' rent a bum team that in a state
Hmm.
that didn't deserve hockey. Listen, I'm one that says Florida didn't deserve hockey. Uh, we're football people. We're not ice people, so we know our limits. We can watch it, but that's why I don't support the Panthers or the Lightning. I just anyway, but yeah, it makes no sense to have the Detroit Red Wings in with these teams that they had no natural rivalry, and that's what's happening with a lot of realignment in sports. Is we're seeing the end and the destruction of historic matchups. You know,
Right. Right. My whole thing was you always make fun of me for being like a Detroit homer on these teams.
oh yeah,
There was a day where I was like Tampa Bay Lightning would be a cool team in the East who've won some cups. That is a newer team that you could get behind, right? I mean, they had their ups and downs just like
yeah,
everybody else, but I liked that. Well, now we're
yeah,
both in the East, so there goes the only team in. I'm certainly not going to root for a team in the West after
yeah.
decades of learning not to like them,
Well,
right?
Dave,
So,
Fallout Dave said he remembers that Avs Red Wings rivalry because he lived out in Denver. So,
oh yeah,
yeah. And
oh
small
yeah,
town Republic said Yeti coolers successfully blocked them from becoming Utah Yeti. See, I don't understand how
that's
they can do
hilarious.
that. It's one thing if I mean, you can copyright a symbol or things, but a name. I mean, why could see when the Jacksonville Jaguars entered the NFL, they were sued early on about the logo from Jaguar Motor Company. And if
Hmm.
you look back, it looked like the Jaguar Motor Company. But to be able to block them from the use of a name, but if they did, they did. Anyway, but still, then pick a name. Just
Right.
this football club, all this other stuff is
The
really, really
Utah
crazy.
bigamists. That may not be correct enough,
Nah.
but anyway,
Well, Lagata said once the NFL changed that it once known as a professional sports league, but it changed is now known as sports entertainment. Not the same thing. I agree. Like all this, look, I tell you what, I going to a game is not the same with all the pumped in crazy music and all the loud racket. They destroyed college games too. I'll go to a college game. I want to hear the bands play. Screw this pop music. Screw the Taylor Swift crap music. All that loud, crazy crap.
well,
I mean, but
the
now it's
NHL
all about
has
nonstop.
always had that though.
Yeah, but see, you didn't have bands indoors, but still, I
Well, yeah,
just we
it
talk
was
about here with
always
the,
the
the
rink
NFL.
atmosphere making a
Yeah,
crap ton of noise, a loud as hell siren
and you have
in the
to at
Joe.
times, but
Yeah,
I think they've gone so far to the entertainment side that they've lost the focus on the game. Hell, like the Jacksonville Jaguars have swimming pools in their stadium. And that's now not good enough because we got a $1 billion stadium on the way for a team that sucks more than, well, I better stop there. Yo, Atwood, how are you tonight? Good to see
I'm
you.
not going to go swim in those swimming pools. I'm just saying.
I wouldn't either.
I got
I
a
mean,
thing against
damn.
public pools to begin with. I am especially not going to go swim in a NFL stadium swimming pool. Are you kidding me?
I'm laughing at this one. Well, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Um, but thanks for that question and that Legatus. I appreciate that. It, but they did fire the GM. I think last week they actually did because what they had brought uh, basically it all surrounded the general manager Trent Baalke. And I tell you, our friend MC Wally was going crazy on Twitter with that because they fired Doug Peterson but kept Baalke. And well-known sports beat writers from major networks were reporting that was getting around the league that no coach wanted to come here. Was it who was the hot guy? Gus, the guy for Detroit that took the Chicago job. Uh,
Oh, yeah, I know who you're
yeah,
talking about.
he basically blew it off because he wasn't going to work for Balky, and then others. I mean, the
Yeah,
Tampa Bay
you're talking
offensive
about
coordinator.
Ben Johnson.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
and Liam Cohen actually interviewed in Jacksonville, then went home, got a promotion, got more money to stay as offensive coordinator in Tampa Bay. Then days later, Balky's gone, and then they announced Liam Cohen as the head coach. So it really, really, really is. Yeah, yeah. I'm actually a little bit better tonight, so we're going to see how long we got Atwood. So I did get to see season 2 of OG tonight for a little bit. So I'm good with that. So basically, folks, there's still 31 more games in the regular season. JT, if your Red Wings were in the Western Conference, y'all would just be outside of the playoffs.
Yep.
But
Oh yeah.
in this side of the bracket,
Well,
oh, you got a
and to
lot of
tell you
teams
the
to pass.
truth, they probably would have more wins too.
Oh yeah, I
They
don't doubt that.
probably, I mean, they would be in. I have no doubts they would be in.
No, I got yeah. Let's see. Trying to
But the
because
Pacific Division, I mean, that is just a dumpster fire.
Hold on one second.
Sure. So, folks, while we're just taking a short break here, Dadman will be right back. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, all that fun, normal stuff. We will be talking probably some NFL coming up here. We will not go super long this evening to help give Dadman a little bit of rest here and recovery. So, let's see. We were thinking about talking more NHL coming up into the new year. We'll probably go back to baseball. Oh, that's more of a dad man thing than mine. We may even go into some European League ball that is kicked with the foot and some other things like that. So we are looking to branch out a little bit into just something other than football.
Yeah, we got to get past. We got to get past the NFL playoffs. More college basketball. Yeah, I got to sit down and watch some more of this stuff. But there's still a lot of hockey left. 31 games left. 30 plus games in a lot of these teams. Some are just now under 30. There's a lot of season left to go. We've got 2 months. Well, actually, no. Actually, March Madness starts next month, middle of the month. It will come past. Conference tournaments start at the end of February and move into early March. And like I said, I saw, although what bugs me, Peacock, I tried to look up rugby. I got to talk to the missus because they kept saying, click to subscribe to watch. And all I can think of is I got to pay extra to watch sports on Peacock.
Yeah,
I'm like, no, I already subscribed to you. I mean, when I already subscribed, it's bad enough I do that for Sling, but it's like, no, nickel and dime you to death. I got you. Yeah, and like you said, the Legata said, just like Maple Leaf when it's sold to Teachers Union Pension Plan, they were more interested in the profits of the team and dream of the Stanley Cup over making a cup contender. Yeah, exactly. Joke forever. Make first round out so much you can. Is it that bad, JT, with the Maple Leafs?
It's so funny that the people I work with that live in Ontario are just like, no, I'm not a Leafs fan. Why would I bother with that? They pick a different team. Oh.
Well, let's see though, JT. You may not be in too much. See, you got your 3 seeds at least as it currently sits. I still don't understand the seeding anymore. I got to learn more about it after they realigned and stuff. But hey, Detroit is only, 3 points out of the wild card in the East. So there is hope.
So, Dadman?
Yes.
Were you around in 67?
No, 3 years before I was born. Howdy, buddy.
Okay.
Good to see you tonight.
Because 67 was the last year the Leafs won the cup.
Okay. Wow.
That gives you any hint. Yeah.
No, I've seen some big collapses, like the year Boston had like less than 10 losses and lost in the first round to the Panthers.
Or the Lions winning 15 games and pooping the bed.
God, did they wet the bed on that one.
I mean, they Amber Hearded the bed, basically. It is kind of what happened. So
I'll be muting every once in a while, coughing.
Sure.
Hello, Finity. Sure. Good to see you tonight. Well, let's take this note to go ahead and get on over to the NFL. Take a look at it. We've had actually the Super Bowl is set up with the Washington Redskins or Commanders versus the Kansas City Swifties. Actually, they might as well call them the Taylor Swifties now. Forget Kansas City. They don't matter to anybody anymore. You know, so
Hmm.
it's all about this personality. So, and don't tell me they don't broadcast in that direction. So we got to take a look back at the scores that happened. Really, there's not much to say in the game against. There's not much to say in one of the games. Uh, Philadelphia 27-15 lead at halftime ends up pulling away. It ends up winning this game 55-23 in really a one-sided rout. Jaden Daniels um, had a decent performance, but then again, uh, you can't play
I turned it
defense and
off
everything
early.
else. Yeah.
This was terrible.
Question: did you turn it off earlier than you did the Detroit Washington game?
Uh, yes,
Oh wow.
yes,
Okay.
because
Yeah.
I was like, okay, maybe this is the weird year that the Washington football team, barely scrapes into the playoffs and then
Yeah.
somehow rallies, and it's this Cinderella story, and the NFL picked them to go to the Super Bowl so that way they could have this narrative.
Yep.
And that would make me, as the Lions fan, feel better that you potentially lost to the Super Bowl champ in the playoffs, right?
Yep.
Even though that's still really a bad pill to have to swallow, at least you could walk away with that. And then
Yep.
at halftime, I sat there and texted everybody else that I knew was watching the game, like, oh, well, at least we lost to the Super Bowl champion. Oh,
Yeah.
wait,
I'm
no.
not sure who Wade Barrett is, but apparently they called out the refs and Chiefs a little while ago on WWE.
I don't know who they are either, but
Wow,
yeah.
Dave. Oh my gosh. But hey, yeah, it's really interesting. This game was actually it's still sort of close at halftime, but it got away, especially in the fourth quarter. 21 and answered in the fourth quarter. Washington, I'm gonna tell you, I'm amazed. See, this is a strategy I don't like. You got Jalen Hurts out there, even if he's just handing off. Why is he out when you have a? I mean, okay, I understand playing in the fourth quarter because I've seen some big
Hmm.
chokes in sports, but when you get up to let's see, doing math 34-23, when you get up 41-23 or 40, even 48-23, why do you not put your backup quarterback in just to keep your guy from getting hurt, knowing the Super Bowl is 2 weeks away?
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
get
know.
this, and then I don't get this in the NFL. He even Saquon Barkley. And if you watch this game, you knew the game was over. Yeah, Washington was never really in this game.
No,
Uh,
they were always on the back foot.
yeah, they got down early. Well, Kenny Pickett did come in the game though, but he didn't get to throw a pass. But in fact, he never threw a pass. Tells me he came in way too late in the game. So, but hey, I don't know. What do I know? All right, let's get to the game that everybody want to. Oh, he's talking about. I have seen refereeing this bias since the last Chiefs game. Okay, that's a good. That's a good one. Fallout Dave says the WWE is uh, less rigged than the NFL. uh, Last Super Bowl I watched was interesting. Legata said was interested in full. 2003 Buccaneers versus Oakland Raiders. I saw that. A church had a watch party. We were
Hmm.
there, and it was interesting. And I think that was the wardrobe malfunction game. I was like,
Was it? I thought
yeah,
that was 2000.
I thought it. I thought 2003 because I'm so old now, and all those get. I don't know. Something happened at halftime in that game, Tampa Bay and Oakland, that was kind of like, well, close the church's eyes, church people's eyes. But I don't know. Maybe I'm running all the games together, but that's not uncommon. But that was a fun game to watch. We were with people. Okay, so let's talk about the game everybody has to. Yeah, I don't know. That is what killed the last of your dad love for the Raiders. Yeah, I can understand that. All right. Well, in the AFC, we have the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. Was a dogfight. It really was a good game. But the Chiefs pull
If you
away
say so.
32-29. Well, score wise and competitively, it was a good game at that point. But it's it was. Let's take a look. The Kansas City starts out with a 7-0 lead. Kareem Hunt runs 12 yards for a touchdown. We go in the locker room at 21-16. Of course, we got to have another 2-point conversion attempt.
A couple of them
in the first half. Yes, exactly. So let's see how many. We had a 2-point conversion there. We had a 2-point conversion for Buffalo fail. So instead of 24-21, you're stuck at 22-21. Go figure, JT Kirk. I don't know. We talked it in Small Town Republic has said the same too. You're chasing points way too early in the game. And actually, what's funny, in that game, the announcers talked about that point, about chasing points too early in a game. And it's what it is, but
yeah.
it just, until they throw out the damn analytics books in the NFL, we're stuck with this crap. And unfortunately, it's done nothing but bleed into the college game, screwing that up a lot. So, Rich Gannon threw the game with his best friend and former coach. Wow, I never heard about that. So, man, Rich Gannon was not as good in that game. I do remember that. So, was definitely a struggle for the Raiders. But well, we had a great fourth quarter. I mean, hey, guess what? Buffalo did go for an extra point. They tied it at 29-29, and Harrison Butker kicks the game go-ahead winning field goal with 3:33 left in the game, giving the Chiefs the 32-29 win in this game. No, wrong Chucky. Although that's how John Gruden got that nickname, was from the Chucky doll. Yes, exactly.
It really is kind of odd because
See,
if you look at this, they would have been up 31-29, and they may have had the kick. They may not. It would have been weird if they had actually done the same thing and not done these stupid 2-point attempts that they can't make. That's not the Bills' way. And then does that mean that then in the fourth quarter that Kansas City would have come back and done that 2-point? Or would they just stay down 3 and then kicked for a tie? There's a lot of different scenarios on how that could have played out, but you and I both have just said don't go for those 2 points before the fourth quarter. And look where it got you. Got you a loss. Now, you knew that the Chiefs were always going to be picked anyway to move on. There's no way the Bills were going to be allowed.
What got me was, and I had turned my head, unfortunately, there was 1 4th down before midfield. And I saw part of the play, and I thought for sure that the Chiefs the Bills got stopped on that first 4th down and short. And then they had the second one, which is the one in doubt about the spotting and marking. Again, you're in a tied game. I like, why do you go for 4th and a foot or even inches in your own territory or even at midfield in a game that's tight and close like this? You're giving up field position if you don't make it. And anything can happen. And you know what? Don't leave the game up to the damn officials.
Well, if you're at like your own 45, I can see a 4th and inches.
Yeah.
If you're at your own 30, I don't see that. Really anything the 40 or closer to your own end zone, I don't think there's an excuse to do it.
Infinity, that's why we love having people like you here. Hey, help keep the chat going. And hey, if we can entertain you too while we're at it, we'll do it. So, and maybe you'll learn some football on the way too, if you like to. But I see. The back to the Super Bowl, the Raiders, the wardrobe malfunction. Justin was supposed to pull away the rubber bustio to reveal a Red Lake's bra. The garment collapsed and the breast was accidentally revealed. So that's
allegedly accidentally.
I know, exactly. But that 4th down play, let's get it out there, folks. You can opine as much as you want to or whatever. What did you see? I'll be honest. When I saw the first one, I thought they stopped them short. When I turned back around and noticed the Bills still had the ball, I was like shocked. I'm like, I thought they got stopped, but nobody's talking about that one. But Then the calling question. I saw it as they were marking it. The guy on the far side of the field was coming in at one spot. The guy on the near side was coming in from another spot, like a foot back. Now I heard on the Tennessee Sports Animal this week, they talked to a referee, and what they said is based who has primary is usually the where the side of the ball is at. And so they gave the deference to the guy on the short side of the field in this case, which pulled him back that did not give him the first down. So, it made sense. That's rule. That's where you would spot it. Now, we got review. You got different types of angles, different types of things that review can do and all this other stuff. But that's what gets me. I honestly, in real life, at real speed, I thought he got the first down.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, JT?
I thought he did.
Yeah, I thought it was and I didn't even really think it was close. But again, I think in that situation, if I remember correctly, the game was tied. I maybe not. Maybe they were still down 7. I don't remember, but here's the other thing. They did have other chances and other possessions to go get the ball back to score again. So it wasn't like this killed them and they didn't get the ball back or anything. So at some point, it's like it's called get good, get better than the other, get the ball, take it down and score. Because even when Kansas City scored, it was like 3:33 left in the game. So there was time to score. I don't know. What do you think?
Sorry, I was coughing there for a moment.
Oh no, we got you infected from this.
It's really hard. It's really hard for me to watch this and actually care about the football of it all.
Is it too much smoke? There's fire.
Yeah, I watched much more closely the week before with the Texans playing, and it became abundantly clear to me when 2 Texans leapt to try to tackle Mahomes when he was running out of the pocket, and Mahomes slid like he's sliding into first with his feet first, or not first, like he's sliding into second, or anywhere else but first. Sliding feet first. The 2 Texans leap. They collide their helmets with one another and then fall down on top of Mahomes like it's a freaking cartoon. And they called a penalty on that. They were roughing the passer. Well, he was 7 yards downfield. He was barely touched. And they called a penalty on that because it was like a 4th down run and he didn't get it. He was a yard short.
Yeah.
And so they needed that refresh on downs. When I saw that, I was like, there's no way in the world.
Yeah.
You cannot tell me that there isn't something going on here. And so I knew Kansas City was going to win this game. What level of assistance they needed?
Apparently they needed a lot because Josh Allen was 22 of 34, 237 yards, 2 touchdowns. James Cook run for 2 touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes was 18 of 26, 245 yards with a touchdown through the air. Had 2 touchdowns on the ground. Really, it's a shame that a game like this comes down to such. The thing that bugs me the most is the review. How review did not, and I understand the body could look like it's ahead of the line of scrimmage, but you can't tell me that the overhead cam could not show something. And I tell you, I think you also have to estimate a little bit because I just. But then again, I go back to what my phrase with the time left in the game. Why not punt the ball, punt deep, play field position? It's basically we're throwing all the old school strategy out of the game of football now because we play too many damn football games on video games. It's like, oh, go, score 90 points a game and boom, 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 run every play in 10 seconds, And it's like, you sometimes you got to play smarter, not harder, but smarter. So, this is one I would like to talk about more. I saw, but I can't figure out if I can do a watch party. But it says I have to subscribe. I guess my Peacock subscription is not good enough. Well, I'm not paying extra.
They always want more money out of you.
I know, it's ridiculous. I already pay for the sports package on Sling. So football is played on a gridiron. I learned, oh, cool. Richie Rich. Awesome. That's nice. No, Dave said he didn't have to watch the game. It'd be close with the refs giving the game to the KC Swifties. Legatus, go, Eagles, go. All right. Yeah.
I mean, I remember when people just got tired of the Patriots winning all the time. This is the same thing.
I will tell you, though, here's a different thing. Because let's look. Let's see. Three. So this will be their third Super Bowl, right, in a row.
Yes.
Right.
That's correct.
So, because I tell you, I think there's going to be more pressure on the officiating crew this time because let me take a look at this real quick. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Maybe 2 years ago, they beat the Philadelphia Eagles. We got a rematch, 38-35. They beat the Niners last year. So, I don't know. I tell you what, I think this year with a big city like Philadelphia coming in, could you imagine the riots that would happen if something controversial happened this time? I mean,
maybe not. I mean, you look and you see these stories in the news that keep coming out that prices on these tickets are lower than last year and they're falling and all this stuff. I'm wondering if it's Kansas City fans from the city itself are just not into going to yet another Super Bowl and paying for all that. Like there's fatigue there, or if people in general just are getting tired of KC. Go to the Super Bowl again.
Well, and also the thing about prices, I mean, how often do they want to spend that kind of money? I mean, it's probably going to be, it's always very corporate driven,
Mm-hmm.
Almost anymore. It's the corporate people that can afford to go to these things, companies write it off and, you just, the average fan does not stand a chance. I mean, maybe if you lived in the town where you didn't have to do hotel rooms and stuff,
right?
But because they jacked up the hotel rates and everything else.
They did, but I'm looking at something here showing ticket prices for the different levels in the Superdome from what they were a week ago to today, and the prices have gone down usually over $1,000, if not $2 or $3, and that's like looking like 20% discount on a lot of these levels of seats, which is
that's
significant.
Steep discount.
Yes.
Now, see, Dave, I think that there is some of that the elitism that's there. There is a lot of elitism, I think, with the league and being tone deaf, and they're so they don't have to care. I don't know. I think that they. That's a good point, though. I mean, at what point do they just say, "Hey, we're going to do what we want to do"? The fans be mad. I mean, look at this. Nobody complain. They are the ones that changed this god awful kickoff rule. That is nothing stupider than the new NFL kickoff rule. And my argument for that is it does nothing for safety, considering what I saw in that Philadelphia Green Bay game.
Of course,
that guy got lit up and it's supposedly not. A shorter distance, but he got lit up on that opening kickoff return. Didn't matter that he was closer to him. Anyway, it just
those rule changes scream of like committee decision making, where nobody's happy and it's stupid at the end.
Yeah.
But that's what they're going to do, and you better like it.
Hey, here's one with that. Remember the week before about the betting line? Remember the week before in the game when they took the safety at the end of the game?
Yeah, that
You
was.
know, when they
Mhm.
took the safety at the end of the game, it was a 10 point, it was a 9.5 point line, and they were up by 10, and then they took the safety,
Yes.
which I agree with that old school strategy at times, but at that point, why not just punt the damn ball? Because they needed two scores. When that would used to be used was like if you're up six, there's 10 seconds left, you would snap the ball, run it out of the end zone, or you would take a knee in the end zone. Maybe the
Yeah.
team gets to four, but you
Hmm.
never did it in a two score situation.
Right.
That's you want to talk conspiracies. To want to talk about things that be invested. That needs to be investigated.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like
Could you
it's
imagine the people that had the
all
over on
over the
that nine and a half
place.
point line?
Oh, I know people that did. I know
Yeah,
people that did. It wasn't me, because I
no.
don't gamble.
And
I mean,
folks, we don't gamble. We don't encourage gamble.
right.
Everything on my site is not about the gambling side, but this is related to the game and how it transpired. And you know me for old school. I agree with that theory, but in the right times. That was not the time to do it. Like 15 seconds, they still had to run the ball back like 20 yards or 15 yards to get into the end zone. And they were still up another score after giving up the 2 points. There was no reason to give up the 2 points there. I,
No football reason,
no,
no
no
game
football
reason
reason.
to do
Yeah,
that.
exactly. So,
Hmm.
yeah,
Which is
exactly.
why I think people might be kind of checking out a
Yeah.
little bit. I mean, look, tickets at these prices are hard for people to afford. I mean, the Super Bowl's never been a cheap
And Dave
experience.
is right with this. This is the hard part is that people keep watching. And now I agree. I watch well because I would like to talk sports. And until the day I gotta have some hobbies. But it doesn't mean I can't criticize it. I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, but the rank and file fans, I understand the reality that we're in. But for people that really get opined and aggravated by it, well, if you want it to change, you have to quit watching and stuff like that. But
Well,
my thing is though,
people
but
did
but for
start
me,
tuning out when
yeah,
people were being disrespectful
yeah.
of our country.
But I
So,
will say, yeah. Do I watch it? Yeah, because I still like my sports and stuff like that. I'm just realistic with what happens, and it's things like here. Legatus is exactly right. They are not a ticket driving league.
right.
They get so little of the revenues. That's why we got a $1 billion stadium coming into Jacksonville because yeah, they're gonna have a smaller capacity, but the state of the art thing with all this other crap, uh, they have reduced capacity, so they don't care about the ticket price. So what's going to happen is the ticket prices will go up a lot when they come back to town. So exactly.
And
So
of course, they're not going to pay for it out of the billionaire isn't going to pay
oh,
for
he's
their own
taking half of it
billionaire
though.
stadium.
He's taking half of it though. But
So does the government get half the ticket price
of
money?
course not. Of course not. That's not how it works. But hey, we got to have downtown revitalized and proper for the yuppies to come drink their beer and do all their hangouts and stuff and have Taylor Swift come to town and stuff like that. But never
That
mind all the other
generates
crap
very little real
for the
economic
local economy.
productivity.
Exactly. The
Hmm.
Super Bowl that was held in Jacksonville did very little for the local economy. I mean, it was so bad. I mean, the whole joke about Jacksonville was that they brought cruise ships into town to for the hotel capacity and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But that it didn't benefit rank and file people. It's you know I mean, we talk about the SEC championship game, other games that they want to bring in, but that money gets sucked up by so many other parties that there's nothing left to. Dave,
Oh,
Dave,
right.
no,
Well, like a lot of that money gets
yeah,
sucked up by your national hotel chains,
no,
your national restaurant chains, your
yep,
national adult beverage chains.
yep,
Then the NFL takes, its cut with all the tickets. It's like, what else are you spending that on in
yeah,
the area, really?
yeah.
What else are those people coming in really spending money on?
Yeah,
I've never bought into that argument. So
I did early on, but as I've gotten more experience of how things work, especially in government, yeah, that's not the way it works.
mhm.
I mean, the politicians all push it, and it's like um, let's see. This article you shared with me was from the New York Post.
Yes.
It said
There's
Kendrick Lamar.
others,
Oh,
but
there's speculation about
there's a
Taylor
chart.
Swift. There
Hmm.
is speculation about Taylor Swift joining Kendrick Lamar um, for halftime. But in 96 hours, the cheapest seats went from $4,516 before fees on Vivid seats to $3,467 before fees now. That's a $1,049 savings. Not bad for just waiting 4 days.
Right.
So at
Which
the time of
is like a 24% discount,
yeah,
something like that. That's
it's a
wow.
good if you talk discount. That's what Disney does and marketers do. You're saving 25% off. It's a good deal.
But
Yeah.
the
Well,
NFL
Dave,
would
that's why
much.
we are getting the $1 billion stadium is to
Mhm.
have more. Crap. Let's see. That's why we're getting the $1 billion stadium. Absolutely. So, still $3,400 too much. And hell, the last son of K. The Olympics are the worst of all major sporting events, being long-term detrimental to the host city's economy. Great to see you, last son of K. God, that's an article. When is the next Olympics? It's not this year. It's next year, isn't
Well, it
it?
was just last year, so it'll be
Will
um,
it be the winter next year?
2020. Well, yes, next year will be winter,
Yeah.
and 2028 will be the next Summer Games
Well,
if they're
like
held.
we know
Yeah.
about the stories about Brazil. All these stadiums and all this, have no use now. They're all the people in poverty all around it, and just these empty stadiums. And hell, you look at parts of Atlanta, they have shells of stuff too. They
Oh,
didn't
and
trans
when
trans.
China hosted, stuff like basically just crumbled. It turned into tumbleweeds.
Yeah,
Greece bankrupted their whole country trying to have
yeah.
the 2000 Olympics.
That is probably the prime example of this whole invest for the benefit of the economy. It's like
No,
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 no, it's not. You
not
know,
at all. Right.
no, not at all. Ah, wow. So let's see. But great to see you. Thanks for that. Yeah,
So
six. Oh yeah. Let me see. Let me get this larger, folks. We
are
probably
you
won't hit
gonna
many more
share it
sports
out?
tonight, guys, because I'm starting to get coffee. But we're trying to. We'll be back Tuesday
He's
night hitting
trying.
more
He's
topics.
trying,
So
folks. We wanted to do this Tuesday, and just health
yeah.
was not great
And mom, I
all
was with my
around for
mom
us,
too, and
and
it's
yeah,
like, yeah, and newer things. So, Superdome section, 600 level, the nosebleeds. We're talking nosebleeds also, $3,400.
25% off.
Yeah, I mean, look, 500 levels, 48, 48, 40, 80, 4,700 for 300 level,
Percent off, 25% off.
5,200 for the
This
50 for
was the
200
biggest
level.
savings. This
Yeah,
was 35% off.
which one? The 600
The
level?
200 level.
Oh,
The
200
200
level.
level.
Yeah.
35% off.
Okay.
I don't know if you have a map of the stadium. Oh, it's lower down in the article. But the 200 level is, if you're thinking about it, it's kind of, it's not the upper bowl, but it's like the upper lower bowl. So I mean, you are close. You are definitely close. I mean, you're going to be able to see the faces of the people on the sideline
Yeah.
for
It's
35% off. Like, are you kidding me? They would much rather just sell out of all the tickets and then let
yeah.
them double on the secondary market. But can you
Here's
imagine
yeah.
trying to buy 10 of these and then try to flip them as a scalper? You're
Yeah.
losing your shirt.
28 is LA. Whoopity flip and do. Only U.S. city outside Chicago that wants the Olympics. But even the IOC thinks Chicago is too much of a crap hole to make the Olympics worthy.
Well, I wonder what's going to happen after all the tragedy that's happened in LA.
Yeah.
how that's even going to work.
I mean,
They have
yeah.
a while to figure it out, but
Yeah.
I've always been a proponent of just having the UN work something out and having an Olympic city for the winter and an Olympic city for the summer. And it's
Yeah.
just a permanent site in somebody's country, because they always try to host these winter games when
Uh-huh.
there's no snow and they have to make the artificial snow all the
Yay.
time.
Yeah.
And then the summer one, it's like they pick it in an area that has a drought, right? So then there's like never enough water, or
Well,
they're too hippy dippy, like they were in France, and they
when they had
don't
the World
put
Cup,
in
they
air
had the World Cup
conditioners.
in the Middle East in the desert, or
Yeah.
is it coming up? Yeah, it's like what the.
Well, then
Well,
like France was so scared about Greta Thunberg coming after them
oh my
that
God,
they didn't put air conditioners in
they
any of
should
the
have been more worried
buildings.
about the turds floating down their river in the
Yeah,
Seine. They had
I know.
swimmers with freaking feces in their mouth from swimming in that river and stuff.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
damn, hepatitis, everything else. It's like crazy,
yeah.
but they all buried it. Oh, we could do it. And they tried to sweep up and clean off and put a pretty picture on anyway. So,
Yes.
oh,
Which is
although
why
the
yeah,
break dancer from Australia back, you'd watch that.
I would.
That's
Hell
the
yeah.
meme that keeps on giving. Well, let's take a look real quick at this. This is the seating chart for. Now, remember, these
There
are
you go.
average prices. So when it says 600, you're not getting these 50-yard lines at that low price.
No,
Those
you're probably
6,000s,
getting
the end
601,
zone. Yeah, exactly. In the end zones and stuff like that.
the green area on the outside,
Yeah,
the mint green.
yep. Because as the way tickets run is it gets more expensive towards the midfield. But see, there you go. God, I wish Brogu was here. I was somebody that lived in New Orleans. I have
Or
one that
Klobby.
was.
Jeez.
I exactly because I'd love to ask him that question. I gotta see our stadium is wider, but you can still see in the nosebleeds. I liked it.
Hmm.
This looks like Florida Field, where it looks like it has to be built straight up. Where you
I
are,
believe it
these
is.
really are nosebleeds, where you truly are a long way from the field.
I believe it is. Um,
So,
like the 600s are in the 500s are overhanging on the
yeah,
300 ring.
exactly. I mean, this is really an odd shaped thing, because this got several rings more. We've got 4 levels at our place, but anyway, it's just interesting. And
So
see, you got
the
this divided area.
200s,
Look, you got more room though between the ones and the twos. You know,
yeah, it's definitely weird. You just do see a lot of that space. But the 200 level, I mean, look where that is.
mm-hmm.
That is not far away, and have that 35% off. I mean, you're looking at moving down into better seats
I see.
if
I
you had
don't.
waited.
I see.
If you said I'm going to spend X amount of money on a seat.
But see, this is also via ticket broker thing, and I tell you what, I think that ought to be illegal too. They ought to go back through where the team, college, and all this crap.
Hmm.
They ought to sell their own damn tickets, and none that because you know what, we used to have a thing called ticket scalping. That used to be a crime. People in the 70s and 80s got busted for it, just charging $50 over friggin'
There's
face.
there's an episode of Home Improvement where Tim and Al get arrested for scalping tickets at a Pistons game.
Oh God.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah. Oh,
I know.
yeah. I could see, but I tell you what, streaming times and event times are a big thing too with them. That's really because who wants to watch everything on replay? I don't want to watch it live and stuff. And hey, Bowsette, welcome in. No, Mike. Maybe if I get a new doc soon, something will change. Hey, we will. Thank you for coming by and saying hi, though, Bowsette. Appreciate it as always. So yeah, and sports betting used to be the naughty no-no, and I don't like. I mean, see, here's the other thing. I don't trust that I'm going to get a real ticket.
Hmm.
In the day of AI and fraudulent stuff and all, I don't trust these other vendors. Stuff you can say StubHub, anybody else. It worries me. I think you should have to go through and get a physical ticket. I don't care about 2020. I don't care about what they think and say, because you want to stop people. I mean, how would you feel to be accused of being a thief or getting arrested for, you've presented a fake ticket? Well, I didn't know. I bought a friggin' ticket, honestly, thinking it was legitimate. It's stupid to me. So anyway, it grinds my gears, to quote a Peter Griffin thing. But all right. Well, we're going to wrap up here in a few minutes. So we got NFL talk. We'll talk more Tuesday night. Hopefully we get better. We'll catch a couple more ideas. I do want to talk Olympics too on another stream sometime where we have more to talk time. But I'm going to go ahead and start a wrap up now, where I want to get it 10 hours. So we got about 4 minutes. So anything specifically you want to talk about, JT? Anything happen in the world of soccer or any of the other sports that have got your attention? Oh, there is one other story I want to get to, but go ahead.
Go for your story.
Oh, I gotta bring it up, though.
Oh, okay. Michigan State basketball, they're on a great run this year, but they did lose, unfortunately, earlier today, which moves them to 18-3.
Mm-hmm.
Now they are 7th ranked. The rankings will update next week. I do not think this is a lower than 10th place team. But they may get kicked out of the top 10, which I think is wholly unfair. I think with Florida went on the road and really choked a big one against Tennessee. They were so out of sync early. They got out hustled. Tennessee still can't shoot worth a damn, but Florida just was the worst I've seen them in a long time. And I agree. Just because you lose a game, especially if it's on the road or something, doesn't mean you should drop. And that makes them 9-1 in the conference. So they're still, one game up on Purdue in the conference scoreboard. You are on top of 18 other teams in a legendary basketball conference. Yeah, that is not easy to do, and they are 11-0 at home. 4-1. It's frustrating because I know they're going to fall further than they should, and then they may not do. They may not win the Big Ten tournament, and then instead of getting a 1 seed, they'll end up getting like the worst division for them, 4th seed or something. And that's always what seems to happen. So these games, they only lost by 6 points. It always just kind of frustrates me when I start getting near March and they drop a game. And for Pete's sakes, they had a 16-game winning streak. Yeah, something. But see, a team can have a really bad one-time performance, but it's not an indication of a team. See, like Florida, I don't think they should fall considering the way they've been. Now, Tennessee is still 8th, but I wouldn't rank them any higher because they have struggled scoring for weeks. Right.
They have managed to hold a high ranking, but they have a trend where they're not playing well. And the other night they shot 45 3-pointers, made 11 of them. And even then it took late in the game before they started making them. So, geez.
And Michigan State has 10 more games left before the Big Ten tournament. They play Michigan twice in there. Yep. And Michigan is good this year. So, and they play Purdue again. So I predict they will potentially drop 2 or 3 more games, but they'll have over a 20-win season. Florida's in a spot where they play 4 ranked teams, 2 of them on the road. They lost today at Tennessee. They play at home against Vanderbilt. Then there's an unranked team, and then they have another game against a ranked team. So it's a tough schedule that they know. It's just really... The one thing that might help them is everybody else is going to start losing too, I think.
Yeah, but you know what? Like we talked about, it does not matter this time of year. You want to be playing in March. You want to be doing your best in February and March. So,
right.
I hate ESPN's website. It's just okay. They moved the shit around on me where I could find it. I did want to talk about this, and we can touch more about it on Tuesday night. Especially in college football, the spring games, they like spring
Hmm.
practice. It's always been a big thing at the University of Florida, spring football. Have they had that up in Michigan?
Yes, both teams. It's very much kind of supposed to be built for you to see who these hot new players are and how
Hmm.
the team has changed. It ends up just being a lot of pageantry.
Right, but
I've
it's a
gone
fun
to a
thing for the
few of them
fans. Yeah.
when I went to school at one of the schools. I would go there. It is meant for the fans, but only the most diehard. And I don't know
Mhm.
if I even care as much because these teams play musical chairs with the
Yeah.
players now so
Well, I
much.
love
It's
this. It's
like,
like remember they used to be good in sports. It's kind of like MTV when they played music. But hey, make sure y'all make sure you hit that like button and make sure you're still subscribed. RTZ, hey, welcome. Good to see you
hell,
tonight. Just
RRTMZ.
oh
Great comment
wow,
the other day on Critical Drinker talking
wow.
about
He does not like the
various different
rugby. I
things.
was wanting to get into rugby. Okay, but I tell you, I would like to see more Australian rules football. That's a good one. But hey, well, we
I
don't. We have not talked about
I
rugby
thought he
yet.
was into it because the was it the Five Nations or Six
That's
Nations?
coming up. Six Nations is now.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I looked today on my friggin' Peacock, and I'm like, wait a second, this is bullshit. I mean, even a replay game. I understand them cutting you off from the live, but I'm not going to friggin'
Yeah,
screw y'all. I mean, I'm like you with that. I
exactly.
paid for enough already. Quit nickel and diming me, everybody. Ugh.
If they could have a Golden Girls plan and charge you
Yeah,
extra just to watch the Golden Girls, they would.
yeah, they would. Yeah, exactly.
Nothing against the Golden Girls,
No,
but
ooh.
they're not exactly a hit new show.
Well, looking at it real quick, Marquette is in trouble at home to UConn. They're down 16 near in halftime. So Auburn
Good,
wins
because they're
by
a top
10 on
10
the road.
team, so that's
Iowa
going to help
State
our teams.
Iowa State also loses at home to Kansas State by 19 points.
Oh,
Yeah,
see,
uh,
that's big. And you said Florida dropped one this week?
they lost today to Tennessee.
Yeah,
So
so
oh
that's three
oh
teams
I got
all.
it now. He loves rugby, but Six Nations has started disastrously for his team.
Uh,
All right. Well, we'll
sorry to
cheer
hear
for the
it.
Australian team. So we'll try to bring you luck.
Dadman and I are
Although,
used to having our beloved teams lose, so we
yeah, and
feel
we
for
bring
you.
it to other people's teams, so maybe I shouldn't cheer for your team.
Yeah, who is your team so we can cheer for some other team so
Yeah,
that
we
way
bring
your
them the
team.
bout look.
Yeah,
There
we
was a
really
comment
do.
Affinity said earlier I missed. I'd like to remind us all what Sam Malone says: root, root, root for your home team. That's like Harry Carey would sing: root, root for the Cubbies. Root for your home team. Exactly. Thank you for being a. Oh, there's the Golden Girls. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
hey. All right, we do need to close up because I'm starting to get coffee. But hey, this and we can talk some
the
tonight.
Mrs.
And
Coffee account.
no.
That
Oh
that
yeah.
coffee.
Oh yeah. Well, you could actually donate to her if you'd like to, because she would appreciate it. So help support her out there. I don't know. Can you find that link, JT?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
place that in
definitely
there if you don't
could.
mind. Also, she's up to 305 subscribers, and uh, trying to get her up to 500. But yes, also, yeah, Dave said, yeah, used to it with the Dolphins and Jags. Okay, we talked about spring football games, the glorified scrimmages. It used to be a big thing when I was a kid, and all. It gave you football. I think it's kind of fallen victim to having sports year round now. Back then, we didn't have much television, for games in the 80s. And even to really in the 80s, and it went to the early 90s. Later, no, probably the 90s, mid 90s, we started getting more sports on that. Oh, Bowsette used to watch that show with a grandmother. Oh, that's nice. And yes, feel free. One time our monthly donations to Mrs. out there,
Yes.
uh, always appreciated. She works hard at it. So, and of course, there's her page to make sure you're subscribed to her. She's the talent that keeps us on going. All right, spring games.
She's does morning shows
Right, but she's now not
and
streaming till Wednesday though,
well, yeah.
unfortunately. But yes,
But
morning musings every morning at 10, Monday to Friday. Uh, watching
she's seriously, I mean, like if you're talking morning shows,
Mhm.
She is like the MLB of morning shows, and
Yep.
The View is like single A baseball.
Get your
I
get your
mean
daily dose of
that's the
positivity.
level
Yeah.
of disparity
I
in how
always
much
love
better she
watching
is.
her. I always love hearing her and hearing her laugh herself uncontrollably. It's always a
Makes
brilliant thing.
herself laugh. Yeah.
All right. So Wells, okay, don't deserve your cheers. Okay. Yes. I see that's why I like AFL football because it's total chaos. So we don't cheer for Wells. Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Yes, gotcha. All right. Nebraska likely to cancel spring game over transfer concerns.
Yeah.
Uh
I mean, do these
yeah.
teams? I mean, you never really have your roster set till like the day of the game, right? That first game, your first week, coaches are tinkering. You
Yeah.
know, you're doing scrimmage ball, all this stuff.
Yeah. I put the link in the
But
chat for you to look at
I
when you get
I
time.
wonder if these guys are even having like wondering if they have all their positions covered
Well, they
by
don't. I
by
mean,
the
that's the
spring
they
game.
don't. But here's what Matt Rule says. I know you love Matt Rule in Nebraska because it's one of the best attended in all of college football and is a major revenue producer for a school that has struggled on the field in the regular season for many years. He's quoted I think, on ESPN.com. He's quoted the word quote tampering doesn't exist anymore end quote. He said at a midwinter news conference. He's quote, "It's just an absolute free, open, common market. I don't necessarily want to open up to the outside world and have people watch our guys and say, hey, he looks like a pretty good player. Let's go get him." So last year they had 60,000 people, highest behind, fourth highest behind Ohio State, Alabama, and Penn State. And it was also televised on the Big Ten Network. Um, so we can explore this more the other on Tuesday night. But 6 Nebraska players entered the transfer portal the week after last year's spring game.
Yeah.
Now the spring
See,
portal
there
ends
needs
April
to be a
25th.
deadline.
Well, see, they do the
That
spring portal so they can finish the semester. That's why it's pushed back to the end of April because most schools end a semester near the end of April. That's when semester schools end up graduating and stuff. But you know what? I'm sorry. Friggin' bring it up before. I let them play their spring game in May. Then allow them extra practice time. But we know that this whole transfer portal is a disaster these days. He said that exposing his players to other school is more of a concern to him than risking injuries in the spring game. And he had 2 players hurt and out last year because of spring game injuries. He said, quote, guys are being compensated now, and you're putting money behind some people, a whole other set of parameters, end quote. He goes on, quote, yet at the same time, you have to get good. Honestly, to me, it's about protecting the roster and protecting through that portal period. So that is the quote. So, JT, I mean, what's your thought on that?
it's disappointing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
yes, there is always an injury risk, but part of this is play the games. I, college was kind of the end of playing for the love of the sport.
Yeah.
NFL's always been pure business. I mean, yeah, okay, those guys might be passionate
Mm-hmm.
with their individual playing abilities, but college used to have that tradition,
Yeah.
used to be about fun, and frankly, it's not like paying these players is going to get more of them into the NFL either. It's
Yeah.
still going to be like, what is that, 1 or 2% from the college sport that actually go to the NFL at all, for the
Yeah.
practice squad, for in the draft, any of that. So for 90 percentile,
Mm-hmm.
this is still their last time they ever get to play football,
Yeah.
and they get to represent their school if they care about that. But this has been their life
Yep.
for over a decade. All of those players have had to have some kind of active coach and or player involvement. This has been their life, and they have to spend all their time when not in class or pretending to be in class doing something with their diet, doing something with exercise, studying film, traveling all the time. This is like a way of life for them that's going to come to an end. And when you start taking game time off the field,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you're taking something away from not I mean, you are taking something away from the fans, but you're taking something away from the players too. I mean, can you imagine at like applying this to the high school level? Oh, we're not going to go to a scrimmage because our players might get hurt, so we're
Yeah.
just going to play
But
these
this is a valid
kids the
concern,
least
though.
amount as
But
possible.
this is a valid concern about them coming in and taking up your players. I
Yeah,
don't know that one
yeah.
spring practice will do it necessarily, but it just anyway. It's just I
I
don't know.
mean,
We
I
can.
think that's kind of funny that people in Nebraska think that if they don't start in that game, that they're just going to hit the portal and get nabbed up
Well,
by
they
anybody
lost
else worth
6
it.
last year. They lost 6 though. That's a pretty
Hmm.
solid loss though.
They were going
So
to lose. I would contend that there was a great chance they were probably going to lose those players anyway.
RNTC, no, but we're like JT said earlier, we're looking to branch open to other areas, and that's not
I
something I'm not up to speed with. Or can you address this in any way, JT?
No, I'm not into boxing. I'm not into MMA. I don't really enjoy watching people beat the crap out of each other like that.
3 losses in a
I
row, time to retire. Yeah,
I just don't. Some people get into martial arts like that. I
yeah,
just see it as two people hurting
yeah.
each other.
Well,
And
but see, this is a
it's
this,
not a thing I
but
enjoy
still, this
seeing.
this is the point though. Your heroes and stuff, the great ones. It's like sometimes in football or baseball, they stay too
Yeah.
long. I mean, there's
Yes.
always debate over somebody like Aaron Rodgers. Other players. Did they stay too long? Did they not? Because you always hate seeing your heroes wear down and not perform their best. But yeah, it's
Well, Tom Brady should
and
have
I
stayed
tell you, even
longer.
if we don't address it or can't address RNTZ, we have other people here that may be able to address that in the chat,
Hmm.
and we'll feel
I argue
free.
Tom Brady
We'll
should have stayed longer so I didn't have
yeah,
to hear him on
no,
Fox.
I know, great. You got more Brady, more than you ever wanted to know.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I'm kind of limited on time. I'm trying to. I can feel myself coughing again, and I need to get
Well, let's wrap it up.
wrap it up and
We don't
rest.
want
But
you to hurt
but if we
yourself.
have a
Yeah.
night on Tuesday night when we can spend 2-3 hours, we can
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
it like a squirrel sports stream. We can pick up things like that and and stuff like that. But hey, for tonight, I appreciate y'all being here. I really do. JT, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for
Uh,
having me.
yeah, I'm glad we were able to. We couldn't do it Tuesday night. Oh, here's one I wanted to hit earlier. What about curling? I love curling. Mrs. loves curling. Yes, we love curling. So when we have, especially, she loves the Korean team, especially. So when next year comes, we're definitely going to be talking some Olympics. So, but yes, yeah, I will try to. I could not sleep earlier today, so, but I will try to. You get tired of sleeping so much. Yeah, and I did a fortnight. I saw season 2 earlier. But on that note, I'm going to say, of course, one more plug for the Mrs. channel there. Make sure you're getting the notifications. Subscribe to her channel. And, of course, if you want to support her or us, there's the Ko-Fi link. Mrs. Dadman Walking 55. Appreciate all this support. Most of all, appreciate y'all coming in, watching, and actually talking and chatting with us. We love lurkers, but it's even better when we can say hi to you and thank you for being here. Yes, we do too. Exactly. The curling. JT, you're a Yankee. What about curling?
I don't know if there's a team right around me, but I did have a friend that lived up in northern Wisconsin and Minnesota, and there were active curling leagues
Ah,
as recent as 2018, 2019. So it kind of like you would see bowling leagues everywhere. There was still curling leagues up there.
amateur curling
So
championship, ESPN 8 The Ocho. I love dodgeball for that. ESPN 8 The Ocho. And
the one, mhm,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I'll go ahead.
I was going to say, I look at curling, and the thing that I take away from it is I could never do it because my back would just be
Yeah.
killing me, bending over at that angle, trying to sweep. Yeah, I couldn't do it, but it does
Well,
look like a lot of fun.
I wonder if I don't know if Legatus is still here, but and we can talk about it Tuesday night another time. But curling, and for all my friends up north of the border in Canada, I'm sure it's a big thing up there. So, all right, JT, thank you for coming in. Like I said, I'm going to go get some rest. Y'all have a wonderful night tonight, and
Good night, all.
enjoy everything else. And I might try to stream some Fortnite tomorrow. I don't know. I do like strategy. There is strategy involved in it once you understand it. But hey. All right. On that note, everybody, have a wonderful night, and we will catch you later. Bye, everybody.